Hey you guys, and welcome back to Divine Beauty Tarot. So if you are brand new to this channel, hi and welcome. My name is Alyssa and this is my YouTube channel. On here, I enjoy doing tarot pick a card readings like this. So if you happen to enjoy today's video, I ask that you please consider liking this video, sharing it, and subscribing to the channel, joining the fam here, so then that way you stay updated anytime I upload new content. I'm really excited for today's video in particular because this is going to be a timeless general reading. So whenever I do timeless readings, it's really great because at any point that you happen to stumble upon this video, then the messages in here are going to be relevant for you during that time. So that's what's exciting about this. Now, this is going to be from 7 to 10 days. So within the next 7 to 10 days from the moment that you watch this video, these messages will be coming up, and it's going to be basically kind of showing you what could be happening within your next 7 to 10 days, or just what messages your spirit guides really want you to pay attention to during the next week. Okay. So we have 3 piles in which you guys can select from, with pile number 1 with the Yang card, pile number 2 with No Place Like Home, and pile number 3 with Mending. So if you need to, go ahead and pause the video to meditate on which pile you are feeling most drawn to. As always, I will have the timestamps listed below in the description box, so once you have made your selection, you can go ahead and fast forward to your reading. Okay, I'm really excited for today's video. I hope you guys are too, and I will see you guys at your pile selection. Hi, group 1. So if you selected the Yang card, then this is going to be your reading. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to lay out all of your cards here first, and then we will go through the messages together. So not only did you guys have the Yang card for your wisdom of the oracle, but we also had another one right underneath that, and that was Imagine. So you have Yang and Imagine. So we're going to keep those off to the side for right now, and then we're going to look at the rest of your cards. So for your tarot cards, the first card that we have is the 5 of Cups, followed by the 7 of Cups. We have the Magician. Now, I'm so sorry if you guys can hear my stomach. My stomach's growling. And then we have the Princess of Wands, okay, also known as the Page of Wands. Okay, so there are your tarot cards. Let's look at the rest of your oracle messages. So from your Goddess Guidance Oracle, we have Maeve, Cycles and Rhythms. And I will read the messages towards the end. We have Diana, Focused Intention. And we have Sarasvati, I could be totally butchering that, The Arts. And then let's see what other messages we have. So this is your Black Moon Ology Oracle. The first one that we have is Cancer, I Feel. Then we have Gemini, I Think. Okay. And then for your last messages, we have some messages from your Lover's Oracle. So we have Power. You instinctively know what is right for you, and you have the power to say no or to walk away at any time. Okay, next one. You may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there is always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. Okay. And then last but not least, we have Surrender. At times, we must surrender to the old before something new can enter our lives. Let go and all will work out. All right. Okay, so group 1. Right off the bat, we definitely do have some strong emphasis on emotions here for this upcoming week for you guys. One of the main things that's really sticking out to me is the fact that you have both the 5 of Cups and the 7 of Cups here. With the 5 of Cups, this typically indicates that you're kind of being fixated on something that didn't necessarily work out in the way that you were hoping for. There seems to be some sort of setback, and this could be having an emotional toll on you, which is why I think your emotions are very heightened at this point in time. And it could just be because you had this idea, you know, you had this maybe vision of how you thought things were going to pan out. and something could have came up, or it could have prevented it from happening, or it just didn't go the way that you had wanted it. And instead of kind of just trying again, or kind of maybe reassessing things, you know, maybe looking at it a little bit differently, it's like we're being a little too fixated on just what went wrong. Now, what's interesting with the fact that you also have the Seven of Cups is that this is indicating you have other options being available to you, and which is, it's a good thing, and it can also be a bad thing because sometimes when it's too many options, it makes it a little bit more difficult for us to decide what it is that we want. So even though you do have options available, you know, you have things that are basically being presented to you, it's basically asking you to kind of take a moment and really kind of focus on what it is that you are wanting. And again, just kind of reassessing yourself or the situation. Try not to stay so fixated on what went wrong. Instead, look at the other opportunities that you have available to you and see what you feel would be best suited for you, like an alternative or the next best thing, so to speak. Okay. Now, we also do have the Magician card here as well, which is a really great card because this is you really working on that manifestation here, really trying to go towards this goal that you've been working on. So like I said, if this goal didn't necessarily pan out the way that you initially wanted it to, that's okay. It might just mean that there's something else better for you and you're focusing on your intention. And that's really kind of what I feel like these next 7 to 10 days is really going to be about, you kind of reshifting focus here as to what it is that you truly want and how it is that you're going to go for it. And what's nice too, speaking upon that, is you also have the Princess of Wands or the Page of Wands. Now, the Page of Wands is somebody who's very driven, who's kind of going to take a risk and go for it. You know, this is somebody who kind of is driven more so by their passions, what makes them feel alive, so to speak. You know, there's a real sense of creativity here that I feel like is itching to get out, you know, and I feel like for a lot of you, that could be why there is this sense of feeling like you want to accomplish this goal, or why you're so fixated on it, because it could have to deal with who you are as an individual, how it truly makes you feel come alive, you know, again, speaking to like what it is that you are truly passionate about. So just because it didn't necessarily go initially how you had planned doesn't mean it's not going to work out. Okay. So what I feel like the overall message here is really kind of getting you to kind of stay focused, again, on what it is that you ultimately see for yourself in the long run here. Okay. Now, I do want to get to your other messages down here as well, so that way we can kind of read the additional messages. So the first one that we had was cycles and rhythms. And this says, honor the cycles of our body, energy levels, and emotions. So what this is basically indicating here is that understanding that, you know, things are just kind of that ebb and flow, that sometimes, you know, you go through those up and down cycles. And right now you could have been coming down from a down cycle from something not having panned out, hence that Five of Cups energy there. But this is you rising back up. Okay. Work on getting back up to the top of where you want to be. Okay. The next one that we have is Diana. So focused intention. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target, and you will make the mark. Okay. So it's kind of what I was talking about a little bit earlier, of you kind of staying fixated on what your end game is, what it is that your ultimate goal is. If you stay focused on that, that's how you're going to make your manifestation come to fruition. You know, that's what's going to kind of give you that drive, or that, you know, willpower to continue full speed ahead. Because one of the things that can be a little, I don't want to say, what's the word I'm looking for? Not daunting, but just something to the point of where it gets you to feel like you're second guessing yourself, or you're having to have second thoughts about your goal, because like I said, it didn't work out the way you initially hoped it would. So you don't want yourself to get so submerged into that ideal that it's not going to work out just because it didn't work out the first time, or it didn't go necessarily the way that you had hoped. Okay. Like I said, you have so many things available to you. You know, you have these options, and if you stay focused on your goal, you're going to reach it. You just maybe have to reimagine how you initially saw it. Okay. And then the last one that we have is the arts. So this says express yourself through creative activities. So I really do get a strong sense that for many of you, this has to deal with a creative aspect. You know, we've got the Page of Wands there, which again does speak to our sense of creativity. You know, we've got our manifestation here. So there is a sense here that for many of you, you could be utilizing your creative aspects or your creativity in general that's propelling you, trying to get you to reach a specific goal that you're wanting. So one thing that could be is if you're trying to be like a content creator, maybe like on YouTube or like on Instagram or something like that, and things just aren't necessarily working out the way that you were hoping, it doesn't mean that you just stop and don't continue to try. You know, maybe just try different things. Maybe try posting at different times, or trying different type of content, or, you know, things like that, whatever it may be, to get you to where you ultimately see yourself getting. And again, just kind of being as clear and focused as you can be when it comes to your manifestation. Okay. Now, as we move on with your other oracle cards, the first one that we have, as I mentioned, is Cancer. So I feel. So Cancer energy is very much that water energy. So our emotions, and Cancers are by nature very emotional creatures. You know, it's almost like they wear their heart on their sleeve. And so when they are fixated on something, they put their all into it, which is really what I kind of see here for you guys this week, is that you're really trying to put your all into, you know, your goals here that you're trying to work towards. And it can be like that ebb and flow, like that up and down, which is okay. But again, you don't want to stay too fixated on those down moments. You want to really kind of stay focused on what keeps you going, so that way you can get closer to your goal, basically. I keep saying goal, so I'm sorry. All right. And then for your next card that we have Gemini, I think. So Geminis are all about the air sign. So very much about our thoughts, being very consciously aware of the things around us. So like I said earlier, this might be the time where you're reevaluating or rethinking things through. Maybe kind of changing something up a little bit. If it didn't work out the first time, maybe what can you change that can be a little bit more beneficial to you or be a little bit better. You know, you really kind of want to think it through your options. You don't want to be careless and just jump in for the next best thing because it sounds good. You really want to take your time and kind of focus again on what it is your intention is and how you see yourself getting to that point. So really kind of giving yourself that time to think things through a little bit more clearly here, okay? Because I keep thinking of that focused intention card, of really just trying to utilize your mind to help you get to where you need to be. Instead of allowing your emotions to kind of take over, this is asking you to try to find a balance between the two here, okay? Now, for your last two cards, we're going to focus on your Imagine card and the Yang. So let's start with the Yang since this is what you guys chose initially. So I just want to kind of bring it up a little bit closer so you can see the imagery on this. So one of the things for me that really stand out with the Yang card here is, for me, I look at this card and I can't help but think passion and creativity when I see this. I think of like abundance. I think of new ideas. I feel like this just kind of makes me think of that fire within us that fuels us, you know, that just motivates us. And that's really what I see when I see the imagery here. So for you guys that chose this pile, one of the things that could be what drew you to it is, again, just your inner passions or your inner creativity wanting to come out, wanting to be expressed, and finding a way to be able to do it to where you feel successful, where you feel accomplished, okay? And ultimately, this is really about you taking charge and going for it, you know, like, or taking action, sorry, and really just kind of going for what it is that you want to achieve. And I feel like you wouldn't have been drawn to this had you not had that drive already within you. So it's like, you know what it is that you want and you're trying to go for it. You're trying to go after it. And I feel like that is stronger than anything that could be holding you back, which is why I feel like you guys are going to be more successful in what it is that you are trying to achieve here. Okay. Now, I love the fact that you guys also have the Imagine card as well, because when I look at this, this makes me think the sky's the limit. So imagine the infinite possibilities. Think of the Seven of Cups here. Okay, think of all of these possibilities that you have being presented to you, and think of which outcome is going to be best suited for you. If I went in this direction, what would happen? How would I make it happen? You know, whatever it may be. So this is really asking you to just expand your thought process, expand your mind a little bit more, and kind of play things out in every scenario that you can think of. And what is it that's going to give you the most gratification? What's going to make you feel the most successful depending on which route you go? Okay. And just, again, keeping in the background or whatever, or in the back of your mind, like what it is your focused intention truly is upon. You know, is it that you want to gain more followers? Is it that you want to make a successful living off of your business? You know, whatever it may be. Like if you are trying to succeed in a specific area, how do you ultimately see yourself succeeding? And what does that look like? What would your life look like? So being very visual when it comes to your manifestation, and when it comes to you trying to, you know, go towards your passions, whatever gives you that inner drive, that's what it ultimately wants you to do here. Okay. And I love the fact that for your other cards, you do have, you know, power here. And there is a lot of power, I feel, when it comes to how, you know, you're trying to work towards manifesting. You know, you really almost have to believe in your true power, and how you can create and bring things towards you. But I do want to reread this message to you again, just in case we forgot. So it says, you instinctively know what is right for you, and you have the power to say no or to walk away at any time. Okay. So that is very true. You know, innately, trust your instincts, trust your intuition. Okay. And that's why I said play out every scenario that you can in your head, because I think intuitively you're going to know which route you need to go. So don't just jump right into the next best thing, you know, or don't become too impatient. Instead, really give your time to think things through. Let go of, you know, what didn't happen. You don't need to focus on that. This is really just you kind of staying fixated on your end game, your end goal here, and trusting the process that it will lead you to where you want to go. Okay. So group number 1, that was your reading. Definitely let me know in the comment section down below if this resonated with you. I would love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and consider giving it a thumbs up, as it truly helps out the channel. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and we're going to go ahead and move on to group number 2. Hi, group 2. So if you selected No Place Like Home, then this is going to be your reading. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and lay out all of your cards, and then we're going to go through the messages together. So you guys chose No Place Like Home, and behind it, we also had another card. So we also have Regeneration. So No Place Like Home and Regeneration. Interesting. So let's put those there to the side, and then we'll go through everything else and see if we can piece everything together. So we're going to start here with your tarot cards. The first card that we have is the Ten of Cups in reverse, followed by the Four of Swords. We have the Ace of Pentacles. We have the Prince of Swords in reverse. So I believe the Prince of Swords is considered the Knight of Swords in reverse. And then the last one that we have is the Queen of Wands, or Queen of Staves in this deck. Okay. Let's get those there so we can kind of see. I might have to rearrange some things. Okay, we'll put those there. All right, so for your next oracle card, we have Isis, Past Life. This situation involves your past life memories. Okay. We have Rhiannon, Sorceress. You are a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. We have Mary Magdalene, Unconditional Love. Love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. Okay. And then we have Irene in Peace. There is no need to worry, as everything is working out beautifully. Okay. And then let's see, we have a few other cards. We have the 9th house, faith. We have the 11th house, friends. Okay, interesting. And then we have some love messages. So we have, deep in your heart, you already know the answer. Do what feels right. Okay. Next, we have a message for you. I'm thinking of you this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. So sweet. I love that. Then we have, it is important right now to take a step back and spend some time alone. Instead of placing your focus on another, now is the time to give to yourself. Okay. And then the last one, transformation. Your relationship with one another is about to deepen. Love conquers and transforms all things. Oh, I love that. Okay. So group 2. I'm going to try and see if I can move you guys back just a smidge here. I know I don't have all the love messages in there, but it's okay because I will pull those back up in a moment. But let's take a look here what we've got. You guys have quite a bit going on here. Okay, so let's start here with your tarot cards because I feel like I'm getting a pretty clear message with those already. So 10 of Cups in reverse. Now, this innately just makes me think of home life, something going on at home. It could be if you're in a relationship with somebody right now, it might be that tensions are a little high. Okay, you might find that you guys are maybe arguing a little bit more or just not seeing eye to eye. And it can feel a little overwhelming, a little exhausting. Now, I don't feel necessarily that this is like you're at a point of like an ending of a relationship. I just feel like I said, things are just very out of sorts. And it's almost like you can't quite understand why it's come to this point or why, you are just maybe more irritable with one another or whatever it may be. But there definitely seems to be a sense like at home that just things are very, tensions are high. I almost feel like. Sorry, I wasn't sure what that was. But, like I said, tensions might be a little high. And so with the 4 of Swords right next to it, I feel like this is telling you to give yourself a rest, like give yourself a little break. Okay. It might be good for you guys both to take a break together. It might be time to take, a little time apart. Again, I don't feel like this necessarily means it has to be a breakup because I don't feel like this is an ending, because if anything, I feel like there is comfort here in one another. Like there's that sense of familiarity. But it could just be, it's nice to get a little break every now and then and just kind of rest, reset, and then come back. And that's kind of really what I'm picking up primarily on here with that 10 of Cups and that 4 of Swords there. Okay. Now, for those of you who are single, I feel like this, because we do have a sense of, like I said, home familiarity. This doesn't necessarily have to be just within a significant other. This can even be dealing with arguments like at home. Just like I said, tensions could be on the rise, even with friendships as well. So those that are close to you, those that you consider like family, I feel like there's like almost like a roadblock. Something is like in the way of the relationship that you have with your loved ones. And for some reason, it's like you can't see past it. You can't quite understand why it's there. What is it that's causing you guys to have maybe this tension in the first place? Could have been that somebody wronged someone. Somebody could have hurt someone's feelings. There definitely seems to just be like this, as I mentioned, tension of like where you guys are just, I need a break. I need my space is really what I feel when I see this. And that makes, like I said, a lot of sense with that 4 of Swords there. Now with the Ace of Pentacles, this is talking about, a fresh start. So I like the fact that I see this because this is what was really giving me that, for me, that certainty that this wasn't necessarily like a breakup or this wasn't like an ending of anything. This was just more like an obstacle in the way, that you just needed to overcome with this other individual, or maybe multiple individuals, depending on if this is a whole family dynamic. But again, just keep in mind, I don't foresee this being a complete cutoff or ending. If anything, I feel like this is just, you need a little bit of a break in order to kind of start anew. Now, typically with the Ace of Pentacles, again, this does deal with like our finances, our sense of security, but this can also deal with family as well. So this is why I feel like for those of you that are dealing with maybe like a significant other, or having some issues within your family life, friendships, this is where it really kind of comes into play as being, no, this is a fresh start within that relationship. Okay. Now, the Knight of Swords here in reverse, this is pretty interesting, because this is really asking you to kind of take a moment and not be reckless. Don't be just so quick to try to either get this person out of your life or try to fix the situation. It's like asking you to just kind of take a moment, really kind of think through with everything, think your actions through a little bit more before you make a mistake that could be a little bit more detrimental. So this might also be a good time too for those of you who tend to be quick with your words, you just say rather than think. This is telling you, think before you speak, because you might say something that might be a little bit more hurtful or harmful, and it'll be more difficult to try to remedy the situation. So it would be best to just maybe not say it, or just think before you actually do. Okay. Now, the Queen of Wands, I love the Queen of Wands because this is really about somebody who's kind of very in tune with themselves. She's a very strong, independent woman who says what she's going to say. She's very much, she speaks her mind very passionately. And even though I was just saying that the cards are really trying to tell you kind of watch what you say, I feel like this is why, because this could be you. Remember, like in tarot, there is, no specific gender here, even though we've got the kings and queens and things of that nature. So even if you are a male watching this, it doesn't necessarily mean that, it's only speaking to the females. It's just talking to that divine feminine that, everybody has within them, whether you're male or female. So for the Queen of Wands here, this is really just kind of speaking to that feminine energy and that, fiery sense of who you are, your true authentic self. You probably are somebody who's very much, I'm going to say it how it is. But it's very funny that we have, that Knight of Swords there telling you, you might want to watch it a little bit, even though, yes, you are very outspoken, this might be a time to just really pause, think before you speak, as I said earlier, because you might add more fuel to the fire. And at this point, I feel like this is just asking you to just take a pause. Okay. Now, for your other cards here, one of the things this, we have here is the past life, your Isis past life. So this talks about the situation involving your past life memories. So this quarrel or, situation that you could be dealing with your loved one could have to do with something that happened in the past and it's resurfacing again. And if that is the case, this might be the time where we learn to heal, where we learn to actually let go of what happened in order for us to move forward. So if you've already learned to forgive this person, or you've chosen to forgive this person, or they've chosen to forgive you, whatever it may be, this is the point in time where you kind of, reconnect and understand from one another that this is what you guys both chose, or that this is what you're trying to do together. I do see a lot of just kind of transformation here, of just kind of like moving on to the next step, whether this is the next step in your relationship. Those of you that are, in a coupled relationship, you leveling up, maybe just falling more deeper in love with that person, or, just having that deeper connection with this individual. Again, whether this is a friendship or family member, whomever, I feel like for many of you, you'll understand what this means, obviously for you, because this is going to be personal to everybody who watches this. So I feel like primarily this is going to be a time where you guys are just going to reconnect and try to move past what has happened, okay? And not allow this to hinder you, because this could be why we've got that 10 of Cups in reverse there, okay? This could be why the arguments are starting to come up. You know, maybe somebody brought it up and feelings were hurt, you know, and that's why there is just this tension. Now, you also do have here, you know, the Sorceress as well. So this is talking about you being a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. So definitely remember that. Utilize that, because this, if you want to stay in this relationship with this person, or you want to continue having them in your life, this is where you put your manifestation to use. This is where you put this out into the universe, your clear intention of what it is that you really want. Speak it into existence, you know, and even speak it to them directly. Let them know, I don't want to do this anymore. I want us to come together. I want us to, you know, reconnect, reconcile, whatever it is that we need to, because I love you, because I care for you. And that's really what I feel. I sense a lot of love in this spread here, which is why I said from the beginning, I do not see this as a parting or an ending. If anything, I feel like this is just a coming together and just reminding one another your feelings and your love for that person, okay? And then moving on, we have unconditional love. So remember, love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearance may be. So regardless of what's going on in this situation, remember that you have love for one another, and why you have love for that person. Why do they love you? Why do you love them? You know, remembering those things, I think is what's going to continue to get you to come together rather than stay apart here. Okay. And then you also have peace. So there's no need to worry, as everything will work out beautifully. So remember that in hindsight, if you are a little worried of how this is going to pan out. Again, I don't foresee this as an ending of any kind. You know, this is just really a rough patch. Everybody goes through it. You know, we've all been there, you know, and this is just really telling you to just trust in the universe that things are going to be okay. Okay. Now, as I say that, I look over and then I see the 9th house, which talks of faith. So this not interesting, but I just think it's kind of funny too, that as we're talking about this, like having faith. And that's really what we have here. This is reminding you to have faith in the situation and in one another. You know, faith doesn't have to just be, oh, I pray and, you know, I'm praying to God or whomever. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. It's having faith that things are going to be okay. Having faith in one another, in another human being, and who they are. Excuse me. Having that faith is really what's going to, I think, continue to help you guys get back on track here. And then we also have the 11th house, which deals with friends. So as I mentioned earlier, I do get that strong sense that this could have to deal with a friendship as well. So for those of you that aren't in a relationship, or this isn't necessarily speaking to you personally about your romantic relationship, this can deal with a friendship or somebody that is like a friend to you, where things are just, you know, out of sorts. So if that's the case, remember why it was that you guys became friends in the first place, okay? And nurture that friendship. Even those of you in a romantic relationship, you still have to nurture the friendship in the relationship as well. So keep that in mind moving forward, okay? Now, I do want to go on to the cards that we chose, or that you guys chose from the beginning. So you guys chose No Place Like Home. And like I said, underneath we had regeneration. So now this kind of makes a lot more sense as we look at everything as a whole. So No Place Like Home. This really speaks of like that comfort, the familiarity. I think of love. I think of connection. Comfort is really like the biggest thing that comes to mind when I think of this. So this person or this individual that you might be having an issue with, even though things might, like I said, might be feeling really high right now, you feel very connected with this individual. You feel very comforted with this individual. And I think that's why there is this strong pull or strong connection to stay together or to stay in each other's lives, because they feel like home to you. This is not something that you necessarily want to run away from. And again, even though this might be taking place actually in the home life, it's you trying to remedy or fix this situation. So it does feel like that safe comforted place again. Okay. And then we have that regeneration. So I love the imagery in this because if you look at underneath, it looks all like fiery destruction, but on top it's being able to still grow and start anew, even with everything that it's been through. And that's what I think of primarily with this situation too, is regardless of what has happened maybe in your past or what things might have been said to one another, if you truly love this person and they truly love you, this has the potential and the power, the capability of rising above and starting anew. And if anything, I feel like the connection is just only going to be deepened because you guys are going to be able to come together and really kind of express to each other what it was that you either need from that person or what they need from you. And, finding a way to have that common ground of, I don't want to get back to that point. Let's, make it a point where this doesn't happen again and we move on, we move forward. Okay. So again, I'm going to go back to your love messages because I feel like these really do kind of seal the deal here with everything that we talked about. So as I mentioned, you guys do have transformation. So yes, there definitely is a strong sense of transformation in this relationship. And I think for the better. Okay. So remember that there is a strong sense of deepening, like we talked about, and love conquers and transforms all things. So very, very powerful there. Okay. The next one, it's important right now to take a step back and spend some time alone. Think of that Four of Swords card there. Instead of placing your focus on another, now is the time to give it to yourself. Okay, so this might be a time to just reflect, really think about what it is that you want, your needs, and that would be a good thing so that way you can communicate it to that individual. Okay, then deep in your heart, you already know the answer. Do what feels right. So yeah, I think many of you guys already just know. I don't think this is anything you're going to necessarily walk away from, but you know in your heart what needs to happen. Okay, and then the last one, a message for you. I'm thinking of you this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. And I love that because this just for me is just like reaffirmation that, this person does care about you. They love you. And I think they want things to work out as well. I don't foresee them wanting to leave or end or anything like of the sort. If anything, I just feel like they're ready to reconcile and come together with you. So group number 2, that was your reading. Definitely let me know in the comment section down below if this resonated with you. I would love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and consider giving it a thumbs up as it truly helps out the channel. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and we're going to move on to our final group. Hi, group 3. So if you selected the mending card, then this is going to be your reading. So I'm actually going to go ahead and lay out all of your cards first, and then we're going to go ahead and go through the messages together. So you guys chose mending, and behind that you also had another card, and we have orphaned. Okay, so mending and orphaned. All right, so we're going to go ahead and leave these off to the side, and we're going to go ahead and jump into your tarot cards. If I can grab all of them real quick. Okay, so the first card that we have is the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, followed by the Prince of Wands in reverse. Next, we have the Ten of Swords in reverse, the Three of Swords in reverse. Okay, I've got a lot of reversals here, but some of these are actually a good thing. So then we have the Moon in reverse. Okay, yeah, so everything is in reverse here, guys. Okay, for your oracle cards, we have Green Taurus, start delegating. Ask others, including me, to help you instead of trying to do everything by yourself. Okay. We have Kali, ending and beginnings. The old must be released so that the new can enter. Next, we have Athena, inner wisdom. You know what to do. Trust your inner wisdom and take appropriate action without delay. And Coventina, purification. It is time for a cleansing detoxification of your body and mind. Love that. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at your other oracle cards. So we have Mercury, the mind. We have second house, owning. Okay, lots of green, I just noticed. A lot of green in your guys' cards here. And then we have Saturn, truth. Okay. And then you guys have some lovers oracle messages. So the first one that you have is, life is a series of constantly shifting cycles. When we resist change, we resist the natural flow of life and create unnecessary stress. Go with the flow. You will be surprised where it leads. Okay. Next one, forgiveness. Oops. Stop focusing your energy on past events, for life is too precious to waste. You create your reality by what you think, dream, and imagine. All right, and then the last one is trust. Transformation occurs through acceptance. Once you accept the current situation, it will automatically transform. Beautiful. All right, so group 3, what do we got going on here? You guys have quite a bit here, and what I do kind of want to actually start here with your mending card, because this was interesting. So the fact that you had mending and you had orphaned is kind of painting a little bit of a picture for me, and I'm going to tell you what I see here with your tarot cards with that. So with the mending card, this is exactly as it sounds. Fixing or mending a situation, okay? Trying to repair what has happened. And with the orphaned card here, this is making me think almost just that, feeling as if though you are without or a sense of abandonment. There is this strong, overwhelming sense of feeling like you don't fit in, or like you just don't belong. There's this sense of like just not knowing where it is that you fit in or who you are, with that. And it could have to deal with a situation that has happened to you, that has left you feeling this way, almost having to kind of question your identity or question your worth even, because of the fact that we've got this, the word orphaned in general is, for me, very difficult, because I can't help but think of abandonment. And it really speaks true for me. And I know I'm kind of going off a little tangent here, but I understand that on a personal level, because I had a father who committed suicide when I was young. And that feeling of abandonment, that it really, really resonates with me. Like, so I understand that sense of trying to discover who you are, what your worth or value is. And that's really kind of what I'm seeing here, for you guys, with this particular spread, especially when it comes to your oracle cards. But the nice thing here is that there is a sense of healing. There is a sense of new beginning, starting over, cleansing, which is why I think, even though all these cards may seem like they're in the reverse, and I know a lot of people may think, oh, reversals might be a bad thing, it's actually not. And so for this, I'm actually excited for you guys, because I see like you are in that healing process. You're in that mending stage. Okay. So there could be a reason why you would have chosen this card in particular, because that word mending might have really resonated with you. So I really wanted to start off there, because I felt like that message just really needed to get out first before we dove into your tarot cards. So let's go ahead and jump right in there with your tarot cards. So with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, what this is really indicating, it's almost like feeling like you're not achieving or being at the level that you feel like you should be at. With the Eight of Pentacles, this is somebody who really works hard, who's, really good at what they do. They might have a specific skill set that they're very good at. This might be something that, they might be very passionate about, something that gives them a sense of enjoyment. But when it's in the reversal, this is usually indicating like something's just off. Something just feels like you aren't getting it right. No matter how hard you try and try, it's just not as perfect as you want it to be. So there's this sense of like self-criticism, of feeling like, why can't I do it? Why can't I just get it right? You know, it's almost like this anger, this frustration kind of comes in, and it's like, you just are not understanding where this is coming from, why you're feeling this. And on some level, this could have to deal with things that you've experienced in your past that have just kind of trickled on over into your adult life, feeling like you have to be perfect, or feeling like you have to be at a specific standard because maybe others that expected that of you. And so in turn, you now expect that of yourself, okay? Sorry about that, just bumped into the camera. But with the Prince of Wands, yes, sorry. With the Prince of Wands here in reverse, what this is basically kind of more so indicating is this sense of feeling very impatient. It's like you almost get maybe a little frustrated a lot more easily, that things just aren't, again, panning out the way that you wanted them to. And this could have to deal with being very self-critical. So it's almost like impatience, self-critical kind of go hand in hand a little bit with this, especially when it comes to yourself, you know, like what it is that you're expecting of yourself. You might just have too high of an expectation, and maybe even an unrealistic expectation of yourself. And it's causing you to feel like you're incapable of rising above. So it's almost like you put yourself in like this limiting belief that I can't do this, I can't do that because X, Y, and Z, or whatever. And in the reality, it's really not true. You can do these things. You can be amazing at whatever your skill set is. You just have to believe in yourself, and you have to let go of those things that have kind of hindered you. And I feel like for a lot of you, this might have been for a really long time. You might have felt this. And I'm really getting a strong sense this had to do from like an earlier on in life. So for some, this could definitely be childhood related, maybe having your parents, you might have had parents that like really expected a lot out of you at a younger age. And so you always felt like you had to live up to some sort of expectation, or you always had to prove yourself, you know, that kind of a thing, always looking for acceptance from your family. And so that's kind of translated into your adulthood, looking for like that acceptance. But then, you know, we also have those that this could have to deal with relationships, where maybe you've kind of dated the same type of person over and over, and it was kind of like you always were aiming to please them. I feel like you might have been the person that always went above and beyond trying to make the other person happy. And it was like they were never maybe satisfied, or they just maybe didn't show you the appreciation that you needed, that you were looking for. And so it's always kind of, again, hindered you a little bit from feeling 100% satisfied with yourself. Okay. Now, as we get here to the 10 of Swords and the 3 of Swords, this is you recognizing that. So within this next week, I feel like this is kind of you really working on just that, really working on you, letting go of these limiting beliefs, letting go of this weight that has been carried on your shoulders, you know, of how you view yourself, of how you feel when it comes to trying to reach perfection, if you will, or trying to reach like this, unrealistic ideal of yourself. It's almost like giving yourself a much needed break. Okay. It's really kind of what I'm seeing here with that 10 of Swords in reverse. Now the 3 of Swords in reverse is actually a really great thing, because when it's an upright, this usually indicates a lot of heartache. When this is in the reversal, this is you finally releasing that heartache and letting it go. No longer allowing it to have a hold on you or to dictate your life or your emotions. Now, is it going to be 100% easy? No, it's not. It's part of your healing process. Now, there's going to be moments where the memories come back up or those feelings come back up, but it's really going to be up to you on how you handle that and how you allow yourself to kind of move forward. Because what happens is with the moon here in reverse, this is more so feeling like a sense of confusion, or maybe feeling like you can't quite understand what it is your intuition is trying to tell you. You know, you might feel like you're having a bunch of mixed signals. Your mind is just kind of all over the place because it's trying to heal and move on from this pain and hurt that it's kind of comforted for however long it has. You know, that pain has almost become familiar to you. And now that you're trying to release it, it's like your mind's like, wait, you going, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? You know, like that was familiar. Why are you trying to get rid of it? Even though in hindsight, you understand it's not good for you. Okay. And it does need to be released. All right. So whether this means you going to talk to someone, going to a counselor or therapist, you know, or even just talking to friends or loved ones, whatever it may be, you know, there is this point in time where this will be good for you this week to start focusing on your self-healing. Okay. And what I love about your oracle cards down here is that this really talks about you releasing just that and you knowing innately what it is that you need to do in order to purify, you know, yourself, in order to completely let go of the old, let go of those limiting beliefs and move on to a point where you feel more centered, more, you know, calm and less harsh on yourself is really kind of just what I feel with that. Now, with your other oracle cards here, we do have the mind with Mercury, second house owning, and then we also have Saturn, truth. So this is, I feel like, a very kind of straightforward message here with understanding what it is that you want and really focusing on how it is that you're going to start your healing process. And a lot of it starts with our mind. It's like getting mind over matter, no longer allowing your emotions to rule your head. You're now allowing your mind to take over and really try to be consciously aware of your thoughts, what it is that you're going to keep, what it is that you're going to release. Okay. Now, with the second house, with owning, now this can typically refer more so like to the physical or financial aspect of, you know, feeling that sense of security. Could have to deal with money, even coming into money. But for you guys in particular, because this is primarily focusing on our sense of healing, knowing our self-worth, I feel like that's really kind of what comes down to it. It's not necessarily like the actual tangible, you know, thing of money, but again, knowing what true value is, what you value yourself, you value your well-being, and knowing that. And so I feel like for this in particular, for this week, that's really going to be part of what it is that you come into, and understanding your self-worth is really important here. Okay. And I feel like with the Saturn card as well, we have truth. So understanding and knowing your truth. Just because things have happened in your past, things that did hurt, it doesn't mean that those things, you know, weren't true once you release them, or like it didn't happen once it's released. No, it did. And it was there. But kind of stepping into your truth and being able to reclaim your power is recognizing that it happened, but not allowing it to consume you or to define you, is really kind of what I get with that. Okay. So I hope that makes a little bit more sense here with that description. Now, as we come down here with your other oracle cards, we have trust. So trusting in the process that transformation occurs through acceptance. So once you've accepted the current situation, it will automatically transform. So that's kind of like what I was getting on with the truth card. So kind of like understanding and knowing, speaking your truth, knowing your truth. It's also trusting as well, that, you know, this is part of the process, and trusting in that this happened. There's no changing that, but what you can change is your present and your future. That's what you can start to change, okay? And then with your forgiveness card, so focusing more so on the present, not focusing it on the past, okay? this is really going to allow you to forgive, to move on, to let go. So that way you no longer allow those things to hinder you. Okay. And then your last one that we talked about is the fact that life is a series of constantly shifting cycles. Okay. So when we resist change, we resist the natural flow of life and create unnecessary stress. So that's really key there, because if we kind of hinder ourselves, like what we've been talking about, and we don't kind of go with the ebb and flow of our life as we go through these changes, we prevent ourselves from reaching our full potential. We prevent ourselves from being happier or, being more content in our lives, because we're so fixated on what went wrong or the past. And this week, it's really going to be about you guys, recognizing that and starting your healing process so this no longer holds you back. Okay. So group 3, that was your reading. Definitely let me know in the comment section down below if this resonated with you. I would love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and consider giving it a thumbs up, as it truly helps out the channel. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope these messages found you well, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world, and I will see you next time. Bye.